So how long does it take to make a steady profit? So recently Liam asked this question on the community forum. So I've plucked this question out for the Q&A because, well, there's multiple reasons I've picked this one out. So it's often asked, and it's obviously a popular question. You know, there's an air of curiosity about this. How long is it going to take for somebody to make some profit? And I understand that it's probably linked hand in hand with, you know, the next point being, is it worth your time? Is trading and pursuing trading going to be worth your time? Which is a question that everyone wants to answer in all walks of life. So I don't really like the question, but I'm not going to swerve it. Basically, I'm not going to swerve the question. We're going to do our best to actually give you an answer to this in this clip. I'm not going to give you a whole load of waffle and not actually try and answer this question for you. There is an important differentiation to make between the time you've spent learning to trade and being successful and getting those results that you crave, because they're not linked. They're really not linked. And I think it's a fair enough question from Liam there. I understand it's just curious, and a lot of people actually answered that thread, and I was surprised at how honest some of the answers were, because a lot of people are answering saying 8 months, 12 months, a year and a half, 6 months, etc. I don't think that it's likely that you're going to do it in any less than 3, but we'll come on to that more in a moment. But the point I wanted to make here is time and results are completely separate. It could be a case you manage it in a week. It could be a case that you never manage it. As far as a tangible answer goes for myself though, I can't even tell you exactly when it was I started to profit, because my account was in negative balance by the time I started to profit. Obviously I'd lost a fair amount of money over dabbling for a year or two and on and off. I didn't keep good records early on, which is something that you've heard me bang on about before. Keep some records, for Christ's sake. In fact, do you know what though? There's one thing, that the theme here that's important, that I think just about everyone will be able to relate to, is I did the 2 steps forward, 1 back, 2 steps forward, 1 back, sometimes 4 steps forward, 3 back, and it was a frustrating experience. I didn't just go from 0 to profit in a week. It doesn't work like that. I certainly didn't. I think if you're trying to do it in less than 3 months, you're really quite ambitious. Although, you know, it could be possible. If you're just going to turn up at the side of a court on courtside and trade the odds ahead of time, then brilliant. You could be profitable tomorrow. The chances of that happening are low because of the competition, the courtside, and all the different factors involved and getting caught and etc, etc. It's not something I'd advise doing. What expectations have you got is a good question to ask yourself. If you're trying to answer that, is it worth my time? And you know, how long is it going to take to be steady profitable for this and that kind of thing, then I think it's worth dropping your expectations and not having too high expectations, because the lower expectations are, the easier it is to see the wood for the trees. You know, the fog disappears, and a lot of the time people are just fighting this battle against themselves, and that's where the steady profit comes, when you stop fighting yourself. To one degree or another, obviously you've got to have an edge and know what you're doing as well, but assuming you're there already and you're doing the step forward, step back, as soon as you stop fighting yourself, lower expectations, and it's more likely that you're going to be steady profitable. I think it was around about 6 months I started to make progress, although like I said, there was falling back, and I'm talking about 6 months from the day that I turned around and went, yeah, this trading stuff, I want to do it. I'm not talking about 6 months from the day I opened a Betfair account. That's certainly not. I opened one a long time before. Didn't even realise you could trade at first. So I just want to highlight the realities of it there. But you know, it's a zero-sum game at the end of the day. Trading is a zero-sum game. One person has to win, someone else has to lose for that person to win. And when you factor in commission as well, it's worse than that. somebody has to win a fair amount and somebody else has to lose even more for you to take some money, because there's commission to come out of that as well. There is no product being created like, you know, you get sometimes in the physical world elsewhere, where, you know, it's a win-win situation for both parties. It's not like that with betting. It is a zero-sum game at the end of the day. But, you know, the reality is, like all walks of life, the small group of people that do succeed and do profit well, they profit massively, and then there's a big group of people that aren't doing quite so well, and, you know, effectively lose in the longer term. So after a little bit of honesty there, if you're still interested in trading, if you're wholeheartedly still interested in trading, then it could be for you. It could be for you. But hopefully that'll have shook out a few people there that weren't really looking at it very realistically. So how do you get steady profits? Well, we've already spoken about lowering expectations. The other thing is to be select about the opportunities. The less fights you get involved, if you just pick the ones where you think you've got a higher chance of winning, then obviously that's going to make you steady profitable. It doesn't mean you're going to be steady. Well, it depends how you're taking steady in this. Are you saying steady, I want to win every race today? Again, that's not a very realistic expectation. I don't win every race every day. But if you want to win steady, then just pick the fights you can win, basically. Lower your stakes, lower your expectations. When we lower our stakes, we lower the margin for error. You allow, you know, the liquidity provides, when there's more liquidity, that's potentially a better thing as well, depending on what you're doing. But the more liquidity and the lower stakes there are, then the more margin for error, and therefore it should be easier to become steady profitable. Pick the fights you're involved, lower your expectations, and ultimately control your emotions. Just recently done a clip about gambling addiction, which is a very good one for learning how to control your emotions. Whether you've got an addictive tendency or behaviour or not, it doesn't matter. It's still one worth sitting through, worth watching, worth making a couple of notes for, because if you can foresee your own behaviour and control the different behaviour cycles and how you're responding, you are more likely to be steadily profitable with your trades each day. But at the end of the day, the bottom line is you've got to stack the odds in your favour. And how you're going to do that? You're going to do that by working hard outside of the, you know, maybe if you've got a day job, then you might have to sit up late and learn about stuff. I mean, that's exactly how I got to the stage I'm at now. There's a lot more resources available, a lot more information. Obviously there's videos and all sorts of stuff. Even this clip on YouTube now wasn't about then. But you've got to stack the odds in your favour, become more educated and informed about what you're doing, work hard at it, try not to pressure yourself, and, you know, go from there. So before we end this clip, one question for you guys, a little bit of honesty here. If you are profitable, please let us know in the comments how long it took for you to be profitable, and if you're not profitable, how long have you been trying? But obviously, you know, you're still not profitable even though you're trying. I would expect there to be, you know, a far more people in favour of people that aren't even profiting, but it will be interesting to have a look through those comments and see out the people that are profitable how long it took them.